Well, good to be with you, and thank you for the interview. Firstly, I think Australia and Morocco has developed quite a lot of trade in the recent years, in particular sectors such as mining, agribusiness, tourism industry as well, and I think those renewable energy, those are some of the sectors that have Australia invested in Morocco and also provided some expertise in terms of exchange of research as well. So there are companies that actually invested in Morocco, such as the Costa Group in the agriculture, developing blueberries for export and using Morocco as a hub to provide to other countries within Europe and otherwise taking advantage of the FTAs, various FTAs that Morocco has. But for me, I think one of the future industries that would provide a good exchange both in research and application is water resource management, such as recycling, grey water, rainwater, and so on. So Australia is a dry country, and as such, it provides a very similar sort of the same as what Morocco has in terms of those issues and water scarcity, salinity, and I think that's something that we can develop together as the two countries in exchange. Look, the two-way trade is probably around 350 to 300, around that mark, which is an increase in the last 3 to 4 years. The trade is beneficial to Morocco, in particular phosphate, fertilizer. From Australia, there's at the moment a small amount of vegetables and meat to Morocco. Essentially, we would like to see, as the Australian Morocco Business Network, what we would like to see is a number of, exchange. But our aim is a two-way trade, which means we also would like to see Moroccan product in Australia and vice versa. So one of the key industries in Australia is that Australia produces close to 75% of its food that it doesn't require. We're a small country, 25 million, and we're very much in agriculture, both meat and food, and we have to export. So we export 75% of our food that we produce. Essentially, our main partner is Asian countries, but we would like to expand into other area. And my network that we are working on is to see if there are other products that we can bring into Morocco. Essentially, I know, for example, the Meat Livestock Australia are very keen to have some discussion on the government side in Morocco to discuss things such as tariffs that are actually higher if you compare with some of the FTAs that Morocco has with other countries such as US or other countries such as the EU, for example. So Australian Morocco Business Network was incepted only 2 months ago. So it's a new network. As such, we have quite a lot of work to do. However, this instigation came with a number of factors, such as myself has been a chair of the Australia Arab Chamber of Commerce for some years, over 10 years. I've also been on the Council for Australian Arab Relations as an advisor to the Minister of Foreign Affairs for 8 years. So essentially bringing Morocco within the map in what we call in Australia the Middle East, North Africa, given the distance that we have between Morocco and Australia, essentially we are in the same group as Middle East, but we are far from Middle East, essentially in the north of Africa. So there is a lack of information, firstly, from a lot of investors in business in Australia. And there's also, I think, that exchange of knowing where Morocco is to some extent within the Australian society in general. And particularly businesses are more focused on the Asian market and the Pacific. So what came from essentially the pandemic is that people woke up to the idea of diversification. So they have to diversify their business. China is our main partner and export destination. So people were just exporting to China, and they understand that you have to diversify your market, so to compensate for any balances that might not be beneficial to some of those businesses. So the idea of the business network is to actually have more informative and targeted industries that we spoke about with some of the businesses in Australia. Information, networking, provide first-hand intelligent, economical, commercial opportunities to some of those members, and also trade mission to bring in some business to see for themselves. It doesn't matter how much you say, it's when you bring them to the country in Morocco, they see with their own eyes how much Morocco is not just a stable country, but also we've got quite a lot of opportunities here that provide for investors to see, and the friendliness of the country. It's well infrastructure, roads that provide logistics, so it helps. A good labour market, competitive but also skillful, which is very huge difference in terms of if we just go across the Mediterranean. So those are all elements that as a network we have to provide to our members and also to investors. Yep. So being a new network, it takes a lot of obviously effort to ensure that we are so to speak, the spokesperson of the relationship. There are other networks that do these things. We've got the Australian Morocco Business Council in the ground here in Morocco, which we will work with. We'll have to sign a number of MOUs, and I wish I could obviously speak with some of the Chamber of Commerce here in Morocco. Also, I would like to talk to AMBN, who are basically promoting Morocco as a stable country for investors. So I think it has to have those coordination strategically to capture the areas that we spoke about in those sectors, priorities for both Australia and Morocco, and to have a win-win both for Morocco and for Australia. I think the idea of a number of businesses in Australia, it's always about what can we sell. What I'm saying to them, it's not just about what you sell, it's also what you can bring in. So we want a mutual benefit for both countries to have a two-way trade. So, as an example, we would like to see Moroccan sardines in Australia. We would like to see olive oil, Moroccan olive oil in Australia as well. And why not other food that we can, a staple of a Moroccan staple food that we can send to Australia. So I would like to work with both. And our strategy first for the next 12 months, essentially to have areas that we can cooperate on with our members, to have a trade mission in the next 12 months to come to Morocco, and to also support the investment and trade organisation, AMBN, here in Morocco, to provide information and to also ensure that we give all the Australian businesses the opportunity to come here. The world has always been through a number of areas of contingent and also of issues that always will happen, but business keep going. And I think the issue, it's about changing mentality. A lot of people I speak to from both sides, in Australia and in Morocco, the first thing they say is the distance. Australia is too far, Morocco is too far. But it takes as long as to go to China and Shanghai from Morocco, and the same as it takes for Australian to go to Shanghai. It's really the same. So essentially, with a number of airlines coming from Middle East to Australia, has opened up new routes to come to Morocco. Qatar Airways or Etihad, and also Emirates, they all fly to Australia. As air freight we can have chilled meat coming to Australia in 24 hours, and vice versa. So essentially those logistical issues are always going to be an issue, but there's always ways to find business, and business usually prosper and find solutions. But it really is about the mentality. And I think that's the first thing that we have to change. And to do that, you need to bring in the right information and also show people how easy it can be done. So one of the issues that I mentioned is Meatlife Australia is the issue of a number of free trade agreement that Morocco has, but Australian, as you know, is an agriculture country. There's a lot of meat product, and I know there's an issue in Morocco around meat, although we can source meat from all over the world. One of the areas is that the tariffs imposed by importing meat, which is around 200%. And we also, on the other side, for example, in Australia, we have a ban on Moroccan sardine. So these are something that I would like to talk on behalf of our members with both government to be able to bridge that gap and see if we can come up with a solution where Australia can accept sardines, for example, and vice versa. Morocco maybe look at high quality meat that is required here for the tourist industry. And also that's something that we can negotiate and bring in the right people on the table from both sides. The other first thing and last thing I should mention is the tourism. So Australian tourism is around, tourists from Australia is around 25,000. Not huge, but it has increased in the last 3 or 4 years. Australians travel a lot. They like to conquer different areas, and when they do come to Morocco, they want to come back and they love it. So the feedback that I've been getting is that Australia love Morocco, and Morocco is the flavour of the next 5 years. So we will see a number of tourism coming through now that we have an office in Australia, which is something we would like to work with as a network as well.